Enlisted in May of '75 through May of '79, and after boot camp I went to gunnery school, then torpedoman school, and then demolition school. First 2 years I was on the Coast Guard cutter Dallas taking care of their heavy weapons, actually everything from handguns to the big gun to torpedoes. 2 years there, that was 2 years training recruits to shoot at Cape May at the Recruit Training Center in Cape May, New Jersey. Boredom would overcome us. I mean, when you're sitting there day in, day out doing that same type of thing, and in the wintertime it was freezing cold, it was open range, and you're just standing there and you were trying to concentrate on your shooters and worrying about the shooters that were behind you that you couldn't see, and hoping the coach that was behind you was keeping an eye on that. It was pretty stressful sometimes. I mean, you got kids that are 17, 18 years old, never held a gun before in their life, and you're giving them an M16 or a .45 automatic. And you know, we had some close calls, but never anything, as long as I was there, that was life-threatening. I got married, I was 17, and my wife was 16, and we were stationed in New York City, living in Brooklyn. I was gone 30 days, and I was back home for 30 days, and we had an infant, and that was really stressful for me with no contact. You know, we didn't have computers where we could email back and forth from the cutter to her. You know, and sometimes we pull a port, I might not see her for 45 days, and knowing her and the baby, that was a lot of stress on me and a lot of stress on her, living in Brooklyn by herself, country boy and girl going to the city. And then at Cape May, it was torn between, you were sitting there bored crazy, or you were sitting there going crazy wondering if the guy behind you was going to shoot you. And what got me coming here is I've always been pretty active, but I just woke up. This was like the week before the flood, and I couldn't get out of bed. My back had locked up, my hips had locked up, and I'm like, I go to work really early in the morning. I couldn't get out of bed, and my wife took me to the emergency room. The neurosurgeon saw me and said that I had no cartilage in my back, and it was going to require some major surgery, and my lifestyle was going to have to change. And at that time, I didn't think that was an option. And I have a friend that's a pain management doctor, and he recommended some physical therapy, which I talked to my therapist, which I have had for many years, and she recommended yoga therapy. And through looking online and trying to find that, my daughter knew of the yoga up here at the barn. She works close by, and she said, you ought to go up there, or you ought to call them, and that's how I met Ginger.
Yeah, a lot of anxiety, just little stuff would set him off. If he, did something a little different than he did it, he was right over there saying, why are you supposed to do this, and you got to do this. And so before, there's a big change in his being, so I'm looking for the right word, but I guess anxious.
I've always enjoyed my cold beer, and I'd let it get out of hand from time to time. I never was a mean drunk, and that never got a DUI. I stayed home. When I get off work, I'd have me a beer, and then I have another one, and it would kind of add up. And I realized I was drinking a 12-pack a day, and
I'm always worried that he wasn't going to be there to see his grandchild grow up, and because, it's bad on your liver, it's bad emotionally. So several prayers from everybody in the family that he could cut back or stop all together.
When I started yoga, I had no intention of really following through on the meditation part, but I thought if I'm going to do it, I need to go all the way. And after about the third or fourth week, I realized I was only drinking 4 beers a day, 5 beers a day instead of 12 beers a day, and it just happened naturally. And I think that was just Ginger's way of training to go, as she calls it, go within. You're responsible for yourself. You have to go inside yourself, and if you want to change yourself, you got to set your mindset to change yourself. And it's not somebody else going to do it for you.
I think that one of the first benefits for soldiers and all people that practice yoga is to become re-inspired about life, plain and simple, just to have inspiration about having hope, a sense of hope that there is a way out of the trap that they may be feeling like they're in. Impulse control is improved. The ability to have your surroundings that are challenging to be in, and to be able to work the tools of yoga so that you can go anywhere you want and have the ability to be in an environment that may be challenging, and to have the practice with you to sustain your life so that you can go to places that may be crowded, to loud sounding arenas once again, to really step back into all of life without the fear of panic attacks coming in.
3 weeks of yoga, I mean, he's moving around. I don't ever see him holding his back. He's not, he's cut way back on drinking. Almost not, I mean, it's a miracle, maybe 2 to 3 beers a day. He's way less uptight. He is less bossy than what he was. Now, I feel like I got my dad back.
Well, my back pain's gone. My psoas pain's gone. I'm in better shape than I've been in years, and I've been a pretty active person, but it's just helped me relax and chill out and think a little more about things that I'm doing during the day, and how it affects other people.
There's a lot of techniques. Basically, yoga is a manual for the whole biology of the human organism. And so there are tools that you can use just by tapping the fingers and by working different breathing exercises that no one even has to know that you're doing. So it's a really beneficial practice because you use your own body, you use your own breath, you use what you have. You don't have to go outside to get a remedy. And so it's very empowering when a soldier or a service member understands that they've got it, that they've got everything they need with them at all times. So I would say that just being able to enter life again and to have that self-confidence without freaking out.
If you're going to change, you got to do it yourself, and tell them they need to come give it a try. And pretty much everybody I've talked to that's came and actually put their heart into it and gave it a try is still coming back.